Hi everyone, this is Dottie. She is a Cavapoo, so a Cavalier King Charles crossed with a Poodle. She's had her bath, so she is ready for a nice clip. So because we are taking her that little bit shorter, I'm not actually going to brush her out before I clip. I'm going to clip and then I'm going to brush and then clip again. Whereas if I was using the clipper attachment, I would brush it all out first. So I'm going in with a 4F. I'll be on that battery in a minute. Good girl. So that brushing just helps to straighten out that hair. She is still a little bit damp in areas because she's not a fan of the dryer, but we'll do the best we can. Good girl. She's a bit nervous, so I've got to reassure her quite a bit, and she doesn't like her legs really being done, especially her front ones. Good girl. Sort of following the direction of the coat best we can, because obviously with a poodle cross coat quite often it just sort of fluffs up, so just gonna follow it so you can sort of see where the hair's growing, so you don't get those clipper lines. Good girl. Just checking the blade's not hot. Don't want to be using a hot blade on a dog because then they can get, you know, they might come up with a rash, like clipper rash, and you might burn them, so always checking the blade as you go along. You're being super good today. You're more fidgety. You will be when we get to your legs. Good girl. Let's do that. So I'm going to come up under, again, still with a 4F, up under her leg. Good girl. Hi now. Good girl. Coming back in. Good girl, Dottie. So ideally when you have a poodle cross of any kind in, well, especially with this kind of coat, you want to be fluff drying. So when you're drying the coat, you want to be going in with your slicker brush with the so that would be using this dryer ideally, which is a stand dryer. So you'll be pointing that at the coat and then brushing it as it dries, which helps to straighten out the coat. She won't let me do that. So we do what we can with, you see all this, it's a little bit sort of curly. So I brush it out best I can with a brush, but it does really need to be sort of stand dried, fluff dried to get that nice finish. But I know, you've got to stand up, I'm afraid. So you can, especially when they're a bit fidgety, go in, lift the other leg up and come in from the other side. So much easier because you're not having to sort of hold their leg up, so they normally prefer it as well. Good girl. I'm going to switch out that blade. So I use, when there's not a load of junk, I use a marble chopping board, and that just sort of helps. That's really cool compared to the rest of the pod, and it helps to cool down the blades a bit quicker. Good girl. Right, this is the leg you don't like. Coming up. Good girl. So I'm stretching that skin out just because she's got a little bit, cover your ears, a couple little fat rolls. So you want to stretch that skin out so that you get a nice even finish, because if you're sort of clipping over, you can see how the skin's bunching up. You're just not going to get a nice finish. Good girl. Obviously not pulling it tight, like that is hurting the dog, but just tight enough that flattens it out a bit. Right, you're going to be good for this leg? Good girl. You got it. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. That was quite good. Good girl. So again, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm going to lift up this leg and it just allows me to get in there without her. She's still getting it slightly out of the way, but it stops her from lifting it up. Back in with the brush. I know you don't like it, but it's got to happen, my friend. It's always the poodle crosses. Well, to be honest, any kind of spaniel influence. Don't like the legs, eh? That's why it's so important when they are puppies. I've said it before and I'll say it again. But you've just got to get them used to being handled like their random areas. So, you know, their feet, their ears, their face, lifting their legs up, their tail. Because, well, not only for grooming, but also for sort of day to day, you know, if they've got any issues and you need to be checking or the vet needs to be checking, then you want them to get used to, you know, being handled. Yeah. So coming in, just lifting that arm up lets you sort of get sort of under here. Obviously not going up too far because then you've got the flap, but I know. I do make quite a lot of weird noises when I'm grooming her. It just helps her, just provides a bit of distraction for him. Sometimes it works, sometimes I just look like a lunatic, but we'll go with it. So, I'm going to go in now, put this to cool down whilst we're doing the other stuff. So I'm going to go in, I know my friend, go in with the 30 blade on her feet. And I'm going to go in, not digging, just taking away the surface hair to begin with. You want to get all this out because this is the stuff that mats and picks up all the mud. And obviously, you know, you can't, owners very rarely sort of brush or like look in between the dog's feet. So if it's nice and clear, then it's easy to maintain, you know. Make sure they got everything in there. There you go. You don't want to come out too far around the outside because then you'll take away from the shape of the foot, but you want to come out enough that, you know, sort of that you can see it's overhanging the paw pad. There is another way of doing it where you can, you know, if you're pushing all that down, I know, and you can see sort of what goes past the base of the foot. I know. And you want to get right under those nails, the hair that's under the nails. Oh, God, for a little dog, you ain't how strong. You're okay. That'll do. Good girl. You want to be super careful when you do get in there. I'll use this one because ideally I'd like to take a bit more away, but she's not a fan, so we'll leave it. Because they've got sort of a flap of skin in between the toes, and they've also got obviously the bit that connects that down there. So you want to be careful when you're clipping out, because if you're going down too far in, then you might nick them. And we don't want to do that, do we, eh? So I'm going to do her nails now. Back ones are always better than the front ones just because they push off with their back feet. So they wear down a lot more. Well, on most dogs. Good girl. So I'm just going little bit by little bit until you see. Hers are easier because she's obviously got white nails, so you can see where the pink is. That's the quick. You want to aim for sort of slightly beyond, not beyond, but in front of that. Don't want to take too much off. I like to come from underneath, and you can sort of, I don't know if you can see, but you can sort of see where the vein is. There's like a little triangle bit at the end, so I just want to come up under that. Good girl. I do find if you do it from the front, I know a lot of people use Dremels, I don't like them personally, but if you come from the front it doesn't leave such a sharp edge. But I do go back in occasionally just to, you know, double check they're not sharp and take off the little edges. Just you can go back in just to get the corners. I'll just run my finger underneath to make sure they're not sharp. Good girl. So I'm going to go in now, brush everything on the feet down. I go in with my curves. These are, what are they called? Canpecky? Something like that. From groomers online. These are my, I mean, I use these scissors constantly. I hardly use any others apart from my thinners. I'm just going to follow, take where the toes are. Good girl. I'm going to follow it round. Just so it matches up with the leg. If you go in with your curves or your straights or anything like that, you can always go back in and sort of tidy it up with your thinners after. Good girl. And again, you can just do it all with your thinners if you want, but take forever. I'm going to go back in, lift all the hair up this time, and get my thinners. Pro Shot, they were Pro Shot, but I can't remember what they're called. But and just go in and just take some of this bulk by the toes off. That's the Cavalier, and you're not wanting to stand. Stay, stay. And it's just a little bit messy, so I'm just going to go back in just to take some of those edges off. Ideally, you want obviously nice round foot. You don't want it to sort of, you can see how it sort of goes down there and then comes out a little bit. You don't want that really, so you want to blend that in. It needs to be one nice line really. Good girl. Stay, stay. That's better. Just tidying up the edges, because the clippers obviously only take away so much. They don't leave a super even finish, so just going back in to tidy that up. Good girl. So now I'm going to take my 10 blade and I'm going to go in and do a hygiene area, so around a little loop and then slightly forward, slightly down into the legs just to take away some of that bulky hair. This is the stuff that's obviously super fine hair that gets matted and dirty, and especially around like a little floof, because you've got all the hair there, then it can cause infection because you know urine sits in there. I know, you're okay. With my 10 blade, I'm also going to go into the armpit and take some of this out, because this is the stuff that's easily matted. In fact, it is a little bit matted, and only a little bit out. Good girl. She has been matted in the past, which is why another reason we also go that little bit shorter, because it's a lot easier to maintain. Her coat is horrific to maintain. She's got your typical poodle fine wispy hair. Good girl. So again, just following it round. You can always take more off, you can't stick it back on, so best to do a little bit, check it, and then do another little bit. So, get me straights for her front legs. Good girl. So I just aiming for a nice straight. At the moment you can see it's all higgledy-piggledy. That's a good word, isn't it? So it's sort of like a cylindrical leg, but obviously she's been cut a lot shorter, so. Cut off anything that goes past the pad there. Oh, I can see you shuffling. Come and swib it. Good girl. Again, I'm going to fluff up. And just come in with the thinners. The thinners just take off that little bit less and leave a bit of a more natural finish than if you were to use your curves or your straights. You obviously still can use them, but I prefer the look of the thinners at the end. I know. So just coming in, taking the straights. I know, but it's got to be done, my friend. So I can, if she's getting a bit fidgety, I just hold her sort of there. Not hard and it's not hurting her, but it just gives me that little bit more control. So I do that roughly, and then what I do at the end is I double check the front legs when, you know, she's sat face on. It's just a lot easier to see the inside of the leg then. Can you turn this way? Yeah, good girl. And your bum. Good girl. So back in with my 4, which is lovely and cool. Good girl. Good girl. So ideally I would have liked to have used a nice whitening shampoo on her today, but I have used, what did I use in the end? Hound Got an Itch shampoo, just because she's a little bit sensitive. In every sense of the word. But she's got a few little skin issues. You'll see when we get to her tail in a minute. I know, my friend. She's got a little bit of a skin issue going on, almost like quite a lot of like blackheads. So ideally she needs that checked out, but could be a, you know, allergy, could be anything. I'm not a vet, but so many dogs coming in with allergies at the minute. Well, it seems to wean down a bit now that we're going into autumn, but through summer I reckon this is the worst year for dog allergies that I've seen. Good girl. So again, gonna lift this leg up so that we can go in on this side. Good girl. What are you doing with your leg? She's got this thing, she doesn't like to look at me when I'm grooming her. She likes to pretend it's not happening. Not your favourite thing, is it, eh, Dots? You're being good. brush all this up. Good girl. You got it. Dottie, stay. There you go. Sorry about that. I thought that was for me, but it wasn't. So I just forgot to press record as I started again. I thought there was a person here for me, but it wasn't for me. You'll not miss much. I just went in with a 10 blade and I clipped her bum. So I've just gone in quite lightly with a cool blade, taken all that off. Hygiene area again and the armpit. Luckily that's all we missed before my camera beeped at me. So I'm going to go back in, just get, there's a little bit there that popping up still there. Thank goodness it beeped at me. So I'm going to go in with this way. Okay, I know, you're fine. I just stopped clipping this, so I've just gone in slightly, nice and lightly, not pressing too hard with a 30 blade. You can see all this that sits under the nail. Got to get rid of that because otherwise it sticks out and looks horrific. You're okay. Good girl. Yeah. I'm going to take the nail clippers. I know, it's got to be done, I'm afraid. There we go. Can see past your head, Dots. Dottie, stay. It's definitely our worst leg. Just coming in right under that. Quick. Dottie, you're fine. Stay still. Yeah, fidget bum. Dottie. God, you're so dramatic. What am I doing? That's the wrong thing. Right, scoot this way. Stay still. So brushing it all down. I always like to start from the feet when I'm doing, you know, the legs, because it just gives you a base to work with. It gives you something to aim for when, obviously, if you just go in blindly and start scissoring this, you don't really know how short it needs to be. Whereas if you're taking it from the, you know, the foot, that gives you a line to then go up into the leg. Oh, why are you worse on this side? Stop it. You're fine. Dottie, stay. And then going back in with my thinners. Right, we're not doing that though. I saw a lip quiver then. Can't be nasty. So just to thin it down. Like that, look. There you go. Stay still. And no bitey bitey. I like my fingers attached to my body. Good girl. Now I'm at the back and check both sides from here. Any bits that we've missed. Good girl. You got it. I got happy with her in my face. Good girl. So she had a, I know my friend, be nice. She had a matted tail 2 grooms ago, I want to say. So it is still growing out because I had to completely shave it off. But to be honest, it normally comes in with a few mats, her tail, just because she doesn't, you know, when dogs don't like certain areas brushed when they're at home, the owners obviously don't want to push the dogs too much, so they don't, and that's when, so legs, if they don't like legs being touched, quite often that's what's matted. She doesn't like a tail being touched much either, so that's why that's a bit matted, but today it doesn't look too bad. So I go in with a slicker brush first and then go in with the comb, because you don't want to just start, you know, combing any knots, because that'll start hurting. Like I said, she has got that bit of skin issue, so that's quite thin hair there, so we try and blend it in as much as we can. So I'm going to take my 4F blade, which is the same as the body, and you want to take, basically, so when she puts her towel down, that's nice and short, so if she has got any, you know, issues, it doesn't go all over her towel. So you can sort of see where I've taken it to last time, so sort of like a few fingers width, but it's sort of coming off at the end, so you're not going straight down, just to blend it with the rest of the towel. Good girl. Good girl. I'm not going to leave it too long. I am going to trim it even though it is growing out, just because it's coming, you know, matted so many times now. We don't want to leave it too long because we'll be back to square one again. Plus it's a bit of a wispy looking tail, so we want to take it down a bit. So I'm going to twiddle it round, take off, say about that much, and then brush it down. Very wispy looking tail. Just going to shake it so it sort of falls naturally as to how it would, because it's very weird. I know, you've got to stand for this bit, my friend. Stay. Good girl. And just blending it in sort of gives you a shape when you've twiddled it around and scissored it. Then it gives you a shape to then go into the rest of the tail. Like I said though, she has got a very wispy tail, so we'll do what we can. Good girl. Normally I wouldn't do this because it just sort of changes the look of the tail, but I am going to brush it all down and then go in again with my thinners, just because it is such a wispy tail that I want to make sure she hasn't got too many bits sticking out. So just going over and double checking everything before we do our front leg, because once we get to that front leg she'll be in a bit of a mood. On your dots, eh? So I'm going to brush it all down. Scissor anything past the pad. Because she has been a bit fidgety around the front, I'm just going to scissor this semicircular from the back Oh, they're fidgety everywhere. Stay. You're fine. Being such a wimp. You only got to have your leg, not your leg cut, but yeah. What might I have to brush? So again, looking for more angles. I'm just going to lift this foot up so she doesn't start moving this leg in. Grand scheme of things though, she is, you know, super good. Just to wimp your legs, not your dots, you can't help it. Good girl. Look at you, see, you can do it. Good girl. Don't look and it's not happening, eh? I'm going to go in, find where the occiput is. So the occiput is like where they've got the ears on both sides, sort of the joint between, you know, the head and the body. And you want to clip from that. I like to go slightly underneath it to begin with. And then once I've clipped the head, then go back in just to tidy it up, just in case you take too much kind of thing. Good girl. I know, pal, but we're nearly there. I like to go reverse whatever I'm clipping the body underneath the chin. So that'll take it to about a 7. Just literally underneath there, not going all the way down here. It just helps to, you know, that's where they sweat out of, so it helps that, and it helps the matting, and takes away some of that bulk as well from underneath. Just looks a bit better, I think. Definitely got some sore spots you have. Good girl. So not roughly holding her head, but I just want to hold it so that she keeps it up, because if she lowers it down, obviously I can't get to this chest bit, so. Good girl. And what am I going to do? Am I going to go under? No. Normally I would take under the ear. I know, do not I? I would take this bit out. I am going to take a little bit, but not as much as I would normally, because she's got the shorter ears going on. If she had long ears, I'd go right up underneath and take all of that out. But when they've got the short ears, sometimes it can sort of take away from the face shape. Follow under the chin, again reverse. Come up a little bit. More of a push thing for them, but good girl. You're very nearly done, my friend. Again, making sure to stretch that skin a bit. So, because I'm using a clipper attachment now, I am going to go in and brush all of this out. She goes fairly short on her head, not super short, but so it's not too long. And it shouldn't be too matted. I've not seen any as I was drying her or bathing her, so. Good girl. Oh, you need your ears plucked, my friend. And go back in with a comb, check it all, make sure there's no hidden mats. I think we're good. And then I've got my 30 blade, and I'm going to put my dark blue clipper attachment, which is number 3 and 10 millimeters, 3/8 of an inch. Is that right? 3/8? Yeah, that's right. So I'm going to go in and, yeah, I will do actually. Take the head on a dark blue. I normally do the ears first really, but too late now. Good girl. Lightly when I'm going over the ears because don't want to take the ears on a dark blue. I'll go back in and rebrush that in a minute, but I'm just going to go to a yellow. She had to have her ears clipped shorter last time because they were matted too. Owner has given me sort of permission to do what I want to do with her ears this time, so I'm going to see what they're like on a yellow. If not, then I'm going to go down to a, well, I say brown, peach. Good girl. Personally, I love a short ear on a poodle cross. I do it on my dog. I do his on a peach. I just think it gives them such a better head shape and it's just so much nicer. Good girl. These clippers are so noisy. Right then, my friend, let's have a little look at you. Yeah, we'll stick with that, I think. Go back to my dark blue. I'm gonna just rebrush all of this. She has got a little scabby bit in there, but almost feels like could have been an old tick. Good girl. Oh, I've just undone my work now. There we go. So from there, obviously you don't want to be stabbing at your eyes, but from sort of the eyebrow, skim over the ears. And now that I've clipped the head, I'm going to go back in with my fork. And I'm going to, it's a little bit damp there, but it'll be fine. Just going to blend everything in with the fork. So the same length as the body. Good girl. So I'm going to go in with my peach clipper attachment number 4, 13 millimeters, half an inch, and I'm just going to skim down the sides of the face, just to take away some of the bulk. Good girl. And that to be perfect because we're going to go back in with our scissors, but just gives it that nice sort of start line, so it sort of gives you a bit more of an idea as to where to scissor. And come in and comb all this hair forward over her eyes. Come in with my thinners and just get rid of all that. Good girl. And then I get my little thinners, my rose lines, and come in to the corner of the eyes. You could do this with a 10 blade, you could do it with your straights, you could do it with anything, but I find if I come in with a 10 blade on hers, it just makes it look a little bit sort of bold around the eyes, so by using the thinners it just gives it a bit of a nicer finish. Good girl. I hope if you opened your eyes though, really, because I need to see where the hair is going. Good girl, look, see your eyes now? I'm going to go in and just take sort of this stuff out as well because that's quite puffy. Oh, you're going to do that really annoying thing where you don't hold your head straight, aren't you? Make my job more difficult, eh? So you can see now, she is just, you know, it just gives it that nice look. When you look from the front, it's not like a step. It sort of blends in nice and evenly. Good girl. Come in just to get the last little bit, see if she's going to do it. Ready? Good girl, ready? Yeah, good girl. Just for the bits that are left. Good girl. And then, always, as all with all my videos, I'm going to start from, I know, hold your head straight, please. Good girl, stay. Stay. I'm going to start from the beard, so that it gives us that start line. I'm going to go with start line, but that's not what I mean. Brush it forward. And now we've got that bit, we can then work around and, you know, it just gives us a bit of a shape. Because we want to aim for not a super round head, but a pretty nice round head. We don't want that sort of Asian fusion style, which is where you would leave sort of this. But I take all that down because I don't see the point. For a pet, you know, a pet dog, realistically that's all going to be up in their face again, so I like to take it down nice and short so it lasts a bit longer. Because that's the bit, you know, the owners want to like the most, is obviously to see the dog's eyes, and when they start growing over, then, you know, that's when they want them groomed. So good girl, look at you. All your staining around your face, eh? Weren't able to get that off, were we? Just taking that back in, because what you don't want, you can sort of see the difference now, is that's falling back nicely. This is sort of sticking round, coming round, and it just looks a bit awful. Good girl. So again, this bit's puffing out, so I'm just going to go back in. And then the same with the other side. I'll come back in and tidy it all up after, but just get the rough shape to begin with. I know, stay. You got it. Good girl. Just following that round. Not going up too high, because obviously that's when you'll start chunking into the top knot, which we don't want to do. Being careful where that ear flap starts. Good girl, stay. Just come in and get some of these wispy bits. Good girl. Good girl. You've been super good today, my friend. Hmm? Good girl. Shh. Same on this side, brush all this out. Make sure the mouth's shut so they don't slip the tongue out. Just lightly with my thinners. So I'm going to brush these ears down. Excuse me. And I'm going to come in, so the ear flap is about there. So you can see she's not grown much since last time, because like I said, she had them cut short. So I'm going to come in, making sure I know where that flap is between my thumb and my finger. Don't want to be scissoring where your thumb isn't, basically. And I come in with thinners. You can do it with straights. You could do it with, you know, curves. I find that the thinners just give a bit of a nicer finish. What I'm going to do first, because I forgot, is going to come into the ear, and I'm going to take some of this down. So with a 10 blade, very lightly, sort of look it out. I'm not going right down, so just lightly skimming it. A little bit here. Good girl. Just reduces that bulk as well. Just follow the ear all the way around. It does take longer to do with thinners, but honestly I think it's worth it because it does leave a nicer finish. Good girl. You can sort of come around the inside as well, again making sure you know where the flap of the ear is. You can see it just gives that little bit more natural finish, which I prefer, but doesn't really make too much difference. But I do always come in just though at the end of the ear with my curves, just to give me a baseline, and then go over it with the thinners. Good girl. The front, I always leave that a little bit longer. I don't take it quite to the flap just because the hair grows a little bit different. Good girl. Like I said, just come in with my curves on the very ends. Good girl. Oh, it's noisy here today, isn't it, Dots? I do this on a lot of my Cavaliers as well. If they want the ears short, I'll come in and do it with my thinners. It was actually how I was taught to do it when I did my course, just because it leaves a more natural look. But, as I said, it does take longer. And if the ear was super long, if the hair on the ear was super long, I would go in with my scissors first, my curves, to take the bulk of it off, and then the bit that's sort of left, you know, if there's that much sticking out, I'd then go in with my thinners. Stay still. Good girl. So you can see how that's really puffy on the top, sort of where the head blends into the ears. So I'm just going to go in and take some of that down a little bit. Oh, pardon you. Burp in my face, why don't you? Yeah, so I'm going to pluck some of that out a second, because that is quite hairy. You don't like this bit, do you, my friend? Well, not many dogs do. So I just use, I could probably do it with a fresh one actually. So this is from, I believe, Christie's. What, you can't eat it. And it's just ear plucking powder. This allows you to get more of a grip on the dog's ear, because obviously it's quite waxy. I'm just going to do it a little bit so you don't go flying. And yeah, because obviously the hair's quite waxy in the ear and your fingers just can't grip it. So it just gives it a little bit of grip. Stay, stay. She's only ever had this done once before, so we'll see how she goes. I'm not going to use the forceps because this is going to come out quite easy. So I'm just going to pull. Good girl. Look at you. What a good girl. So you don't mind me pulling hair out your eardrum, but you don't like your legs being touched, eh? What a good girl. A little bit more on that bit. Good girl. I'm just going to get, I tell a lie, I'm just going to get the forceps on that bit. Oh, your hair is everywhere, my friend. Tasty. Right, ready? Be brave. Yes, good girl. What a good girl. Look at that, it's come out your ear. My goodness. You'll be able to hear me now, eh? And the same on the other side. What's that? You can't eat it. Don't get that on your face either. Just have a nice groom. Good girl, stay, stay. Good girl. Yeah, if the hair comes out quite easy. I don't use the forceps, but actually I thought it was going to come out easy, but it hasn't. So, you ready? Good girl. I know, my friend, but we gotta get it. Yes, what a good girl. Look at you. Good girl. Look at that. Oh, disgusting. Disgusting. Oh, thanks. What a good girl. Then after I've done that, well, I'm going to sanitize those. But I'm also going to just get the ear cleaner. So I use, oh, that's quite wet. I use the wool ear cleaner, I think that's how you say it. Which is, I just put on a little bit of cotton wool. And just to get out that loose sort of plucking powder we've used, and also any dirt that's still there. It's still a little bit dirty, see, but I know it's cold, isn't it? I'm sorry. It's very cold. There you go. Right, you've got to go that way because you're going to come out with the thing. So I'm just going to give her a spritz. Excuse the kitchen roll, it's very sticky, and the writing's gone, but it's a company called Houndsley in the UK, and it's a, I believe, mango and lime spray. So just a couple spritz ready. Good girl. I absolutely love the smell of that. And then she is all ready to go. She's got a cute little, show me Halloween bow tie. Look. What's this? Yeah, she's a good girl, but she's all ready to go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.